Greetings, Scotty Reid here with a Black Talk Radio News report and commentary. And on this particular report, I am going to touch upon the subject of separating children from their parents, because there are some children that do need to be separated from their parents. Now, right now, the nation and the world is weighing in on Donald Trump's administration's policy of separating children. Now he's written an executive order that is going to keep the families together that come across the border and skip a checkpoint, but they still are applying for asylum. But he's keeping them together, but he's going to indefinitely detain them like they are enemy combatants, under the NDAA, and therefore subject to indefinite detention. So I want to touch upon that, but I want to take a different angle. Now, first again, let me say, as I stated in the past, this is nothing but another form of slavery. This is just one of the branches of the tree of slavery that America was founded on, and I am against detaining families, separating them from their children, when we're talking about refugees who are fleeing drug violence, who are fleeing government violence, all created by U.S. foreign policy, whether we're talking about the drug war, whether we're talking about overthrowing countries or supporting the overthrow of democratically elected governments and what have you. That's what those people are fleeing. They're not immigrants, they're refugees. Now, with that said, I was on social media today posting some stuff, and I came across an article from 2016. I may have seen it back in 2016. I just don't recall. But there is this article, and I posted it on my profile page for BTR News in btrcommunity.com. As you can see, it was published by the NewYorkDailyNews.com, and it was written by Sean King. But this was back in 2016. King, white high school students in Michigan saying they'd like to bring back slavery shows racism is still alive. Now, not only does it show racism is still alive, but it also shows that the education system is failing the American public in teaching this great lie that the United States abolished slavery, that slavery has ever went away. That's not the case. If you read the 13th Amendment of the United States Constitution, it says involuntary servitude and slavery shall be abolished except, and that's the key word, except as punishment for a crime where a person has been duly convicted. All right. So many of these actual refugees, they haven't been found guilty of committing any kind of crimes, but they're still being thrown into slavery. So slavery never went away. It has only expanded in the United States of America. But the education system needs to stop teaching the lie that the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution abolished slavery. All it did was reset slavery, and now slavery is practiced through the courts, and the people end up in prisons, on prison farms, in detention centers, and in jails. So let's read a little bit of this article from 2016, because I'm going to tie this to the separation of children from their families. All right, so here's just a little bit. It says racism is as American as apple pie, baseball, and handguns. If any of us thought it was a relic of the past or something relegated to the Deep South, we were sorely mistaken. Over this past Memorial Day weekend, several white high school students from Grosse Pointe South High School in Grosse Pointe Farms, Michigan, a suburb of Detroit, recorded a video where they discussed what they love to do if they were elected president in 2014. Among their ideals were bringing back slavery, burning black people with brands, and sending them back to Africa. Yes, really. All right, so again, I think I made the point. The 13th Amendment makes it clear slavery was never abolished. These children, and they are children, aren't even aware that slavery is still being practiced. It's just being called mass incarceration and what have you. So, but These are the type of children that need to be separated from their parents. Why do I say that? Because they are victims of psychological abuse. Racism isn't something that someone is born with. It is not a behavior that a child will display towards another child unless that child has been programmed by a racist parent to practice racism against a person based on their color, their skin, based on their national origin, based on, in some cases, their religious beliefs, and what have you. It goes on and on. There's a number of isms that people practice that is involving the mistreatment of other people. So these children are being mistreated by their own parents. They're being abused by their parents. They're being taught to be the type of children that would abuse other people. That's child endangerment, because I tell you, let some of these children go up to the wrong type of black person, the wrong type of non-white person, and start talking that racist talk, and they may not survive the encounter, or they may leave the encounter severely beaten and battered. Okay? Because a lot of people today, it is not Jim Crow days. A lot of black people is not going to accept your racist abuse. They're just not going to do it. So these children's lives are being put in danger when they go out into the world and they practice racism against other people they don't know how they're going to react. And here lately, we've been seeing some stories where people have made racist videos and comments and posted them to social media, and then that person practicing the racism, usually a white person, gets kicked out of college. As we've seen, we just saw a waitress lose her job because she was going on a quote-unquote nigger hunt and what have you. So, but again, where did all of this behavior come from? Where did they learn this behavior? They weren't born racist. They were taught to be racist by their racist parents, who were taught to be racist by their racist parents, who, and the cycle just goes on. So if you want to break the cycle of racism, perhaps it is time to start taking these abused children from their abusive parents and putting them into some sort of humane facility where they can get psychological help, where they can be taught not to practice racism, not just simply taught not to practice racism, but why racism is a crime against humanity. They are raising these children to become terrorists, all right? And the government needs to get more serious about it. So this is what I propose. And I'm not guaranteeing any kind of results or anything. But if you see a racist child, if you know a racist child that's putting out this kind of racist type content, making videos, saying racist things, get that child's name. Try to find out who the parents of the child is. And you know how Becky likes to call the police on black people barbecuing, or black people chilling at the pool, or black people just walking. Call the police, or better yet, don't call the police. Call Child Protective Services for your state. Okay? Sick the social workers on them. Now, many of these social workers are liable to be racist themselves. All right? But let's see how they handle it. But again, in my opinion, if you want to break the cycle of racism, you're going to have to start separating these abused children from their abusive racist parents. This has been Scotty Reid with a Black Talk Radio News Report and commentary. Please support not only the work that I do in media, but also how I help others through our nonprofit Black Talk Media Project. Make a donation today of any amount. It will surely be appreciated. All right, what do you think? Leave your comments on the comment section. Peace.